The year 2015 wasn't all that peaceful, yet the Nobel Peace Prize will be given to someone. I can't think about any politician in world politics who actually contributed to peace apart from Benjamin Netanyahu, who somehow eventually contributed to the signing of the nuclear deal of Iran. You might think I'm insane, but actually if you think about it, Netanyahu, by constantly crying wolf, saying that Iran will be having a nuclear weapon anytime now and is the sponsor of international terrorism, somehow he managed to bring the Western powers and Tehran to the table. Bibi has been speaking against Iran for the past 20 years. In his book, which he wrote in 1995, Fighting Terrorism, How Democracies Can Defeat Domestic and International Terrorism, he made the point that Iran could have a nuclear weapon within 3 or 5 years, and it's the international sponsor of international terrorism. In 1996, when he spoke in front of Congress, guess what? He was saying the same things. International Western leaders were not taking him that seriously just yet, but the moment they discovered that actually Iran has illicit uranium enrichment and weapons-related programs, well, that gave a bit more credibility to the message and the messenger. It was a time of George W. Bush and his lovely warmonger friend, Vice President Dick Cheney, who decided to invade Iraq. They were convinced that once they invade Iraq, take out Saddam Hussein, there will be stability in the region. They couldn't have been more wrong, since Saddam Hussein was the biggest foe of Iran, and by taking out, well, sort of fucking up the equation, fucking up the balance, Iran became stronger. While the United States was struggling to actually maintain order in Baghdad and in Iraq, Iran became stronger. In a few years, it actually had more uranium, more weapons, more money to spend on international terrorism. So Israel, instead of actually having a different approach to Iran, kind of figured that, well, we should actually bomb them. And in the past years, Israel actually considered launching airstrikes against nuclear facilities in Iran. And the United States didn't have giant robots to destroy these facilities, so there was kind of war in the air. However, the US was quite busy in the region because once again it kind of got in a moor and couldn't really get out of any war. Dick Cheney, who by the way was the head of an oil company that was lobbying for lifting sanctions against Iran so his company could actually open offices in the Persian country, he told everyone that by taking out Saddam Hussein and then finding a new allied government would be a good idea. So taking out Saddam Hussein was not only contributing to helping Iran to become stronger and have more money, it actually contributed to the rise of the Islamic State. Now any normal politician can know that they cannot concentrate on two enemies. Two enemies which are the enemies of each other at the same time. Mind you, the Iran is a Shia republic, Shia Muslim republic, while the Islamic States are Sunnis who hate Shias, thus they are automatically enemies. Mind you, that is why Iran actually increased its influence in Baghdad, because Cheney and his friends managed to put a Shia guy, who was in exile, once again, in Iran, as Prime Minister, al-Maliki. Now, in the meantime, Israel hasn't stopped its anti-Iran rhetoric and actually kind of convinced the Iranian regime that if the Jews are so against making a deal with the United States, then we actually could be getting a good deal. It would be wrong to say that Netanyahu and Israel actually directly contributed to the signing of the nuclear deal. However, Obama took it personal the moment Netanyahu walked into Congress in 2015, March the 7th or 9th, I don't remember, and gave this big speech, repeating himself, saying the things he had been saying for 15, 20 years, basically publicly criticizing Obama and embarrassing him in front of the Republican-led Congress. So I think that's when Obama decided to keep it real and push through this deal no matter what they like. He told Congress that given that the deal is still not approved by either the American Congress or the Iranian whatever Revolutionary Guard council they have there, and the supreme leader Khamenei Ayatollah, the American president told everyone, I'm so going to go through with this. If you do not approve of it, I'm going to use my presidential veto and fuck you. The Iranian supreme leader is being kind of a dick about it, because even though the public does want to have the sanctions, the economic sanctions, lifted from the country so they could live a bit better and have a bit more money, and they are fine if their nuclear program is a bit restricted, Ali Khamenei hasn't really made a stance yet, and lately he's been saying stuff that he shouldn't be saying if he wants peace. The problem is that this guy still views America as the great Satan, so we don't know. But there's a minor chance that actually the Iranian regime will reject the whole thing, but I don't think so.